Okay, let's talk about why business owners need prenups more than anyone else. Before I dive into this, I'm going to make a statement. No one needs a prenup more than a business owner. No one. If you show me someone getting married worth several $1 million on one hand and someone with net worth of 100,000 but owns their own small business, I'm going to tell you that the small business owner needs a prenup more than the multimillionaire. They both need prenups, obviously, but the business owner definitely needs a prenup. Let me explain why. Most people think that the primary purpose of a prenup is to protect premarital assets. And that's true to a large extent. But an even more important reason for a prenup is preventing an expensive, long, drawn out divorce if things don't work out. Many people think, oh, my divorce would be simple because I don't have much. And they completely underestimate how one outstanding issue can make your divorce case last for 2 years and completely drain every dollar you have on attorney's fees. There are lots of factors that go into whether your divorce case will be long and expensive. There is nothing that makes a divorce more expensive than when one spouse owns a business. Why? Because if the business was operated during the marriage and you don't have a prenup, that business is a marital asset that is up for division. And how do you split a business? Well, first, you have to calculate what that business is worth. And compared to the other assets a couple normally owns, coming to an agreement on what a business is worth can be close to impossible. Compare a business to other assets a couple normally has. If you own a house, you can go get an appraisal. And even if you disagree about that appraisal, you can go get a second appraisal and average the two. But even with competing appraisals, they're likely to be in the same ballpark, right? To value a car, you can just look at Kelley Blue Book. A bank account is worth the money in the bank account. A retirement account is worth what's in the retirement account. Maybe you deduct some if it's pre-tax retirement account, right? You have an idea. A brokerage account is worth whatever the stocks in the account are worth. For virtually every asset a couple owns, there's a pretty easy, straightforward, reliable way to come up with a value, except a business. And you might be thinking, can't you just go get a business appraiser to come up with a value? Sure. But here's what happens in a real divorce. Let's say Jack and Jane are getting divorced, and Jane owns her own business making custom furniture. She has no full-time employees. It's just her who takes orders and builds the furniture with a couple of contractors that she hires on from time to time. She makes good money, but she barely even thinks of it as a business. And in her mind, it's not something she could sell to someone else because she is still the person who has to make the furniture. So in her mind, the business is worth zero. Maybe not zero, but maybe it's worth the amount of money in the bank account. That's it. Meanwhile, her husband, Jack, says, oh no, that business is definitely valuable. It's been around for 10 years. It's got a good reputation in the community. She does $500,000 of revenue a year. And Jack hires a valuation expert who bases his opinion of the business value on the average annual revenue and compares it to some other custom furniture businesses that have been sold in the past few years. And he prepares a fancy report that says the business is worth $1 million. And so Jack wants $500,000 for his share in the business. Jack and Jane's divorce case is about to be very long and very expensive. Jane is thinking, there's 40 grand in the business bank account. How could I possibly pay you 500 grand? And Jack says, well, you keep your business and I'll keep the house and both of our retirement accounts to even things out. From Jane's perspective, she thinks, you want me to keep what is essentially my job while you keep the rest of the assets? Jane's never going to take that deal. And Jack, meanwhile, isn't walking away from what he believes is his rightful share in a marital asset. So now they both have to hire business experts to testify in court about what this business is worth. And the person who is going to make the final decision is a judge who, by the way, most likely has a background in law, not business. So your judge is probably no business expert either. But that's how the system works. So now one of the biggest financial events of this couple's lives, whether Jane's business is worth $1 million or $0 or some number in between, is going to be made by a non-expert judge who is going to make that decision after listening to a few hours of testimony. This isn't an exaggeration. This is something that happens all the time when couples get divorced and there's a business involved. If you're a business owner, you should know that it doesn't have to be this way. You can and should decide what happens to your business if you get divorced in a prenup or a postnup. Some couples agree that the income from the business will be shared during the marriage, but if they divorce, the spouse who runs the business keeps it without a payout to the other spouse. Other couples will choose a specific amount that the ex-spouse will get in return for their share in the business ahead of time, like a certain amount per year that the couple is married. Others may agree on a way to calculate the value of the business. Say, we're going to use this valuation method, and it's going to be by this specific business valuation company. There are many ways you can resolve this question ahead of time without just leaving it up to chance. In today's day and age, more and more people are starting their own business, and even small businesses can present serious problems if the relationship doesn't work out. If you're married without a prenup and you own a business, then your spouse is your business partner. Would you ever start a business with a business partner and just say, we'll figure out what percentage of the business you own if either of us decides to leave the business? No need to discuss it now. We'll just wait until we can't stand each other and then decide how to divvy up the business. No, of course you wouldn't do that. But that's exactly what you're doing if you're a married business owner without a prenup or postnup. The good news is you can fix this issue with a relatively simple agreement. Come see us at prenups.com and learn how to define the ownership of your business without it turning into a legal battle.